Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jay, and we are back with some Dying Light 2, Staying Human, Dying to Know episodes. Essentially, this is basically like a miniature press conference, giving us a lot of detail and bits of information about the game as we go along. This is 27 minutes long. Let's get into it and see what they've got in store for us.
Please select your floor.
Here we go.
Go already. Recon. Be careful. Looks clear.
Whoa, he come out of nowhere. God damn. So we've missed the...
Hello and welcome to the second episode of Dying to Know. If you missed the first episode, you can still catch it on YouTube, where you'll learn more about the game, about the release date, and catch the latest gameplay trailer.
Right, so I won't be pausing this much. If you enjoy this particular episode, drop a like. Let us know in the comments, and what I will do is I'll watch the first one. I need to watch them all as we go along, essentially, before Dying Light released in December. Remember rightly?
Today, we're going to be talking about the infected in Dying Light 2 with some of the people who helped create them. But right now, I'm sure you're wondering, where is Jonah? Well, Jonah is hard at work right now in LA recording some of the voices for Dying Light 2, so we'll forgive him for his absence. But he has left a message for you.
Hey guys, good news. I'm in LA and we're finishing up voice recordings for Aiden in Dying Light 2, and this particular quest we're working on right now showcases a lot of the disgusting, horrific freaks of nature that you're gonna fight in the game itself. The better news is that the episode today of Dying to Know focuses almost entirely on those monsters, and Leia is gonna tell you all about them, and it's gonna be fantastic. The bad news is I'm not going to be there in the studio, at least this time. I'm going to be in this studio recording lines for a while. But Leia's going to take good care of you. We're going to make sure that you get everything you need to know, and I think I got to go back to work. Leia, the stage is yours. Good night, good luck, and remember to stay human.
Why does he look like he's a video game? Well, sound like he's a video game protagonist. That'd be interesting.
Thanks, Jonah. Well, we might not be in sunny LA right now, but we do have something just as exciting to talk about: the monsters. We're going to be looking at how they're created. We're going to be venturing into the night in a new gameplay trailer. We're going to be seeing what's new on Techland GG and more. But first, let's take a moment to thank our amazing community, you. We love seeing you react to our content, and your comments help motivate the entire team. So thank you. Over 750,000 of you tuned in to the first Dying to Know live stream. Over 10 million of you have watched the first gameplay reveal trailer.
That's insane.
And over 17 million comments have been left across our social media channels on all platforms.
Why so many comments?
Amazing.
That's some
Thank
madness.
you. There is literally nobody we would
Wow.
rather explore the darkness alongside than you. Our first guest today is Timon Smektauer, the lead game designer for Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Hello, Timon.
Hi, hello.
Hello, welcome to the show. So we're talking about monsters today, and where do monsters start? They start in the imagination of the game designers like yourself and the others. So what can you tell us about them?
So first of all, I think it's important to say that our monsters used to be sick and suffering people who just didn't manage to find UV light or any other cure in time. The virus causes
This
them
set
a lot
they're
of
sat
pain
in
and
must
it
be
makes
really
them
nice.
suffer, and they are not driven by
Looks
hatred,
great.
but by instinct, their new nature.
Right, okay, so what does that process look like for turning from a human to a monster?
So at first, you get symptoms similar to fever. And at this stage, the process can still be slowed down or even paused. But if you spend too much time in darkness, the sickness progresses and your symptoms become more severe. And eventually, you will turn into a volatile, a quick, agile, aggressive, bloodthirsty monster.
Right, and if it gets to that point, is there anything you can do? Is it reversible?
Well,
right, that's different.
Unfortunately, once you have turned, there's no way to revert it. And now the UV light becomes your enemy, so if you spend too much time in the sun, you will degrade into a slow-moving and shambling biter.
So
Wow.
with that sun sensitivity then, so it's fair to say you're kind of safe outside in the daylight, apart from the biters?
Well, yes and no. Of course, you will see less monsters on the streets than during the night, but you will still encounter some. As the sun weakens them, they try to find a place to hide, usually inside buildings.
Okay.
But don't go into those nests at day, as they are swarming with the infected.
Right, okay. So, I mean, you know...
There'll be a lot of guys in them buildings, a lot of zombies.
Is there any chance of
And no,
survival?
no, absolutely
Oh.
no. So, because if you do it during the day, it's a certain death.
Right,
But you can explore those places at night.
okay.
And because of that, we have greatly improved our stealth mechanics. So now you can go through the entire dark zone completely unnoticed. That is, as long as you stay quiet and don't misstep.
Right, okay, which is like my kryptonite because I will absolutely kick a bucket back.
No, absolutely, don't do that. Never do that.
And you're
Never
face to face
kick.
with the
No, never kick the
volatile
bucket.
and
No.
you're dying. And not only that, but you can encounter other special infected as well. So can you tell us a little bit about those?
Absolutely. So they were created by chemicals that made the infection progress too fast, causing mutations. So sometimes when you stay quiet, sneak behind them, and observe them,
That is
you
such
will
a
see
beautiful
that
set
they
for this
seem
conference.
to be uncomfortable in their
Look
new bodies,
at-
as if they didn't have time to get used to them.
Wow, okay. And they're all like quite unique and different as well, aren't they?
Well, yes, everyone is unique. And for example, the Revenant, who's my personal favorite, he has those things coming from his back almost like wings. He's very scary, very dangerous, but also smart and intelligent. And
He's
to
a
capture this
scary-looking
part of his
dude.
nature, we
I'll
have
give it
kept
that.
his appearance more human.
I think smart and intelligent are two of my least favorite things when encountering an enemy that sounds that scary. Wow, well, thank you so much for joining us today, Timon. It's
Thank
been
you for having me.
fascinating. And now, why don't we take a sneak peek at some of those monsters in action in this brand new gameplay video.
Please.
So, you have an army here?
The Peacekeepers. Seriously riling up the Bazaar folks.
I'll proceed with caution. Are we going? You wanted to show me something?
Sure. Follow me.
It's a really nice and vibrant, really good colouring. Obviously, a crap hole, but really pretty nevertheless. That's cool. Not completely realistic, but cool nevertheless.
Biomarkers are at the GRE hospital. I'm waiting by the lobby.
Okay, so we're inside. Is it day or night?
Sleeping Beauties.
Yeah. We have to walk past them. If you crouch and move slowly, they shouldn't notice you.
Yeah, it's daytime, they're all sleeping.
Get too close, and you're done for.
They're everywhere. Bodies on the floor, body bags.
What is that?
Oh, there's spores there.
Nasty shit.
Make you cough, I imagine.
GRE doused the whole
You're doing too
hospital
much, she'll hear you or something, wake up.
along with the patients and staff. Wanted to stop the infection at all costs.
Ooh, big boy!
Worked out great for now.
Big boy! throwing up from the chest. God.
We got company here.
That's a scary dude. The detail on the face. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's fucking disgusting. Look at it. The detail. Whoa! Damn. Better run, boy. Wow.
That's great. Sorry about this.
What? Sorry about what?
About that. On behalf of all its whores, bandits, and idiots, I christen you a citizen of Villador. Fuck. You're about to turn. Get into the
Oh, it's the bracelet, the beeping. God, that must raise the anxiety a little bit for you to get out of there. And then, obviously, all the zombies around you can hear it. God. Oh, I'm out.
Wild. And if you
Wow.
want to see how the creatures we've just seen were created, Kasia Bech, the lead character concept artist, and Dominik Vashenko, the lead 3D character artist, are here to tell us more. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, hello.
Hello. So my first question for you today is, how did you come up with all of the forms and shapes for the monsters in the game?
So first we had to create a general idea of how virus could evolve visually.
Okay.
We used elements from various skin diseases, like hardened tissue working as organic armor, blisters filled with yellow pus as weak points, and some burned skin scars to create interesting texture on the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, we have Demolisher and his blisters. They shine at night. And that's because we wanted our monsters to be
Big
visible
tanky
and
boy.
recognizable in the darkness.
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of must have had this idea from the start then that you wanted the Demolisher to be the bigger and tougher of the monsters, right?
Yeah, we knew that he would throw heavy objects or charge, and our goal was to make his silhouette really monumental
Wow.
and aggressive, just to show that strength.
Okay, so the Demolisher is probably one of the bigger monsters in the game. Have you got an example of the smaller monsters, maybe?
Yes, of course. For example, we have Banshee. She's insanely fast and agile. Because of that, she needs to be, of course, smaller than the Demolisher.
Oh,
and she doesn't
damn.
have the hardened tissue that we saw on him. But
Size of those hands.
Yeah, we really wanted her femininity to show. So she's wearing a dress, though it's pretty ragged now. And also she's wearing jewelry that's fused into her body while she was turning. And her hands grow larger than the rest of her body. Almost same like in Demolishers, but here the disproportion is much bigger.
Wow. Yeah, and I feel like there's a story behind that with the jewelry fusing to the body. That's so intense. But why are her hands so big?
Basically, they are her weapons. So, yeah, because she strikes from above, her fingers grow longer and also sharper to cut, not to hit, because due to her lower strength.
Yeah, she's going for the kill
Yeah.
then. She knows.
Exactly.
So does that mean we can be expecting Banshee to jump from the roof down on us?
Yes.
I wonder
she's
if
so
you can
fast
hear
and
her
agile
when
that
she's
she
local.
might surprise the player, like by striking them midair.
Wow.
So, yeah, something that no other like monster can do.
No. Okay, yeah. Can't see the Demolisher doing that. Just splat. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing more about the process of design. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A bit like the crying lady from Left 4 Dead. A bit like
If you
her.
like stories, we've got a bit of a treat for you. When it gets dark at night and the monsters leave their lairs and roam the city streets, the residents of the city like to gather in their safe spots under the UV lamps for protection and wait out until the dawn. And when they're doing that, they like to kill time by telling stories themselves about Banshee, for example. You're wondering why she's wearing that beautiful necklace and ball gown? Well, now you can find out.
Intrigue me. This a comic?
Techland have
I didn't
partnered
expect
with
some
Dynamite
animated
to
stuff,
create a
okay.
comic series, and this is just a teaser of what to
Okay.
expect. You can get a
That looks
physical
cool.
copy yourself in stores soon, but if you head to techlandgg.com, you can also get a digital version for free. And also on Techland GG, there is plenty more content. You can find a brand new starter pack, more information about the monsters. You can get a 6-piece outfit coming very, very soon. More information about the game entirely, the Dying to Know shows, basically everything. So why don't you check it out for yourself at techlandgg.com.
I'll take a look at that later myself.
I feel like I know quite a lot about monsters now, but if there's one thing that intrigues me, it's how do you make something so inhuman and terrifying come to life in-game? Luckily, we have the one person who can answer that question here with us today. It's Dying Light 2's animation director, David Lubrica, and he's here to tell us more.
Love learning about animation. So
welcome, David.
fascinating.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. So you work with the animation team in taking all that concept art and bringing it to life and having like an actual living, breathing monster in the game. So where do you even start with that?
So the process starts with creating a prototype and then designing choreography based on this. Then we take it to the mock-up shoot, and that's where we have our actors interpret the movements, and we actually learn from them also. That gives us some extra ideas. But the real magic happens when we take all the things we captured and start putting into the engine and into the game's language.
That's really
Can
cool.
you give us
That.
an example of that in game?
Sure, like Volatile, for example. So he sniffs around, he searches for his prey, he has those cat-like jumps. But many of those movements are actually characteristics of the creatures we know from animal documentaries. And he combines them with some new ones and unique ones, and that's what makes him who he actually is.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to be like in game. I'm going to be searching him out and trying to see all these little details you've made, which is probably not the best idea because I think that will get me killed.
Right. Yeah, with him it's not the best idea. But we have other infected, and all of them actually have very, very distinctive and interesting behaviors.
Okay, so you're giving them all like unique personalities in game.
Sure. So let's take a look at Howler, for example. He doesn't fight. He's more of an alarm, like this light tower, searching for prey.
A walking alarm.
He screams to call other infected when he spots human, but also he sometimes rises on his tiptoes to see better, to see his surroundings. But that also makes him look like this very scared, panic child.
Why is he so scared?
Well, it's because there are some traces of his humanity in him. He really wants to scream, but the virus has attacked his lungs and vocal cords, and that would just hurt him too much.
Wow.
He's helpless.
But they all
That's
just
cool.
lose this fight with their instincts then at some point.
Totally. Actually, they rather evoke pity. You can see that they can notice the deformations the virus has done to their bodies. They can touch them. They can experience something like seizures. And you can see that all this aggression, all this rage is repressed in them. Something might trigger it, and that's usually an opponent. And you can see that all this energy is released and transferred on the opponent, on the player, for example, us.
This must be one expensive
I
ass
want to
set.
talk about Banshee because we mentioned her earlier. We've seen how she looks, but like, how is she animated?
She's curious one. She has those really long deformed fingers, and she uses them to fight, but kind of like a byproduct. And we had to imagine how she would feel about them. And we thought they must really bother her, right?
Yeah.
Wonder about clipping
She
in the
can get
environment
really
with the
clumsy
size of those
them.
hands.
She falls on them in this very uncontrolled way, as if she was forgetting she had them.
So it's a bit of a curse and an asset for her then. She's like conflicted.
Totally, she's really conflicted. You can actually see her sometimes actively hunting you, and then at some point, if she gets too close to you during combat, she'll just suddenly jump back and cower, as if she was trying to resist the virus, but ultimately she would just give in to its power.
Wow, this has been fascinating. Thank you so much, David.
Thanks for having me.
That was so cool.
If you've ever wondered which of the infected in the world of Dying Light you might be, then I've got good news. You can check out a quiz at dyinglightgame.com/witchmonster and find out whether you'd be, I don't know, a violent volatile, a tough demolisher, or maybe a human. Take the test.
I'd like
and
to.
share it with
I'm
your
going to try
friends
that later.
because,
I'd like
you
to try
You need
that.
allies out
See
here
what
in
I
the
get.
darkness, even if you're an infected, or maybe especially if you're an infected. And if you can't wait until December the 7th to find out more about the world of Dying Light, why not check out what's been added to Dying Light 1? Within the last month, over 500,000 new players have entered the world of Dying Light, and we've had the
That's a lot of
highest number
people.
of active players across all platforms since launch, which is amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for your support and your interest in the world of Dying Light. More and more fun content is on the way to Dying Light 1 also, like the Savvy Gamer DLC or the 4th of July event. And if you head to Techland GG, you could get your hands on this in-game weapon, the Wasp. So, you know, why not check out Techland GG? As if you needed more reason to.
That's pretty cool.
More and more fun content is added to the
I like
game
that.
regularly,
I
so
like that a lot.
keep checking it out with more coming soon. All right, well, since Dying to Know is about the world of Dying Light 2, there's still something else we need to hear about, if you pardon the pun, because we're going to be talking about the sound design of Dying Light 2. If you've ever wondered about where the roaring, the growling, the screaming that covers the streets of the city at night comes from, then you're in the right place, because we're going to be talking to one of the lead sound designers to tell you more. Senior sound designer Tomek Shedak is here with us today. Hello.
Hey, nice to meet you.
You too, hello. So, first question. Do the monsters have their own language?
They technically are not herd creatures, so they didn't develop sounds to communicate with each other, although there are some exceptions. For example, Howler, when attacked, he would scream to alert other infected, and then you can get yourself into really big troubles very, very, very soon.
Let's talk about the process of actually creating those sounds, though. So you have to imagine what a volatile might sound like from scratch, and where do you even start with that?
Well, you know, the virus deformed the infected in very different ways, and you have to reflect it in their voices. So, for example, the acid-spitting monster, you know, has to have sound with some kind of acidic characteristics, some watery, hissing stuff in it. And there is the Banshee, a woman monster, and her voice is high-pitched and vibrating and really, really scary.
So you work alongside your twin brother Wojtek, and he also records a lot of the sounds that you use to create these monsters, and we actually have a video of that process, so we can have a closer look at what that entails.
Everyday object. It's amazing how much work goes into sound design. I mean, especially after playing Dying Light 1.
See how it works. We always start with the human throat, because all of the infected were humans ones.
Yeah.
And then the creative part is coming, and a lot of sound design magic is happening. Also, we have to cover a lot of emotions in the infected voices.
Yeah.
Because you have to know, I mean, the player has to know if the infected is in pain, or is super aggressive, or is maybe dying. You have to pass this message through the voice, and the message has to be very, very, very clear. So basic monster like a biter has 700 voice assets, so the scale is it's enormous.
Yeah, that's a lot to try and communicate in just sounds. So that's the monsters, but what about the entire city?
Our city is dying, so we had to find these abandoned places where there is no sound of the civilization. We visited abandoned factories, we visited post-military bunkers. We went to the forest at minus 15 degrees because it sounds completely different than in the summer, and we climbed up the mountains. It was a lot of interesting places we wouldn't visit without Dying Light 2. And you know, at night with the good headphones, you can definitely enjoy it.
I cannot wait to hear it. It sounds like you've got a fascinating job.
I agree.
That's mental.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And you can check out the hard work of the Shadag brothers and their teams when Dying Light 2 releases on December the 7th. You can become a part of that amazing universe. Remember the UGC contest? It's already started, so just show us your art to be in with a chance of winning a copy of the already sold out collector's edition and join the world of Dying Light 2. Just look at all the amazing things people have already created.
Wow.
Dying
Some of
Light
the stuff
2
there
releases
is
later this
amazing.
year on December the 7th, and you can pre-order it right now. But if you want to dive into the universe immediately, then why don't you check out Techland GG for more news, updates, and to grab your free copy of the Banshee comic. All right, I think we know everything about monsters now, except for one thing. How to defeat them. So stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be looking at different combat styles, weapon crafting, and the iconic Dying Light 2 parkour, which was designed in cooperation with this man.
Bien sûr, il y aura des mouvements originels de David Bell, maintenant c'est à vous de les trouver.
By the way, I'm Hakon. Yeah?
You'll do
Wait,
better
what?
on your own. Trust me.
How pretty it is.
Thanks for watching episode 2 of Dying to Know. And remember, the virus isn't the only thing that makes a monster. So stay human.
Cheers. That was awesome. I'm really looking forward to when that releases. There you go, 7th of December. That's going to be amazing. Hopefully I can get my Series X by the time this releases. I want to be able to play it in 4K. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you wanted me to go through the first episode and then third, if they end up bringing one out, give me a comment down below. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.